How's it going, everybody? You are listening to episode number 70 of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I am documenting my journey in real estate and business while also talking about travel hacking and personal finance. So if you haven't listened before, I did a little bit of travel hacking already and am getting started on the next trip, getting started on booking the Maldives for a honeymoon here in the next year. So that'll be in the Maldives. We're thinking Paris. We're thinking maybe Greece and Santorini. Personal finance, I track everything that I spend through Google spreadsheets. So I go in more detail about that. And real estate is my main business right now. So I do a couple of flips. I renovated my personal home, have completed one full flip at this point in time. I'm currently on project number 2, looking for flip number 3. So that's a little bit about me, but before we hop into today's episode, go ahead and follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Figuring It Out Finance. You can find me on YouTube as well. That's where you're going to be able to stay up to date on everything that I'm doing as I'm documenting this journey. And go check out figuringitoutfinance.com, where you can check out all of the podcast episodes and get a little bit more about me. So today's episode is going to be a little bit of a shorter one, but I just wanted to talk about 3 books to get started in real estate. And these are the top 3 books to get started, in my opinion. And here is why. So I saved one of the best for last, but I'm going to start out with the book that got me started in real estate investing. I read this January 1st, 2021, and at the end of that year, I bought my first house pretty much by getting started reading this book and understanding the real estate game. So that is the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner. So I actually started off with Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I call that more of a mindset book towards investing rather than actually real estate. So this was the first real estate book that I read after hearing real estate. And what better book to get started on? The book on rental property investing. So I think this is the best one to get started just because it is the best all-around idea on how to get started in real estate and rental property investing, since that's what you're looking at. Because this starts you off, it breaks down all of the simple things like ARV, how to buy it, how to rent it, and how to keep it, and then how to grow your portfolio to be able to have that passive income coming in. And that's what we're all looking for in the end of the day. And in all the other Bigger Pockets books that I read on buying rental properties, I still think this is hands down number 1 on the one people should start with, just because it is the best all-around book on real estate, because it breaks down the mentality starting out, and then it goes on to, okay, here's how you fund it, here's how you buy it, here's exactly what you're looking for, okay, now you bought it, here's how you're going to rent it out and why. And then all of the other books from Bigger Pockets are more strategies on how to do it, but as if you're getting started, this one I wore out the highlighter on just because it's all brand new information. So I highly recommend checking out that book first. Moving on to number 2. So this is another real estate book by David Green. It is the BRRRR book. So BRRRR is B and then 4 R's. So those B and R's stand for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So this is one of the strategies that gets you into it, but it makes sense if you're starting out with a little bit of capital and you're able to just go and start investing. So these are the people with, 50 to 100 grand to where a house say you buy a house, you have a great opportunity on it, you got it at a discount, and you have, 50 to 100 grand saved up. Let's just say 50 to 60 grand. And you're like, all right, I have this money to invest. It's not doing much for me in my savings account or, mutual funds. So why don't I put this into real estate and figure this thing out? So a hard money loan, you're going to be able to qualify for, you're going to be able to find a hard money lender that you're going to be able to once you find the property, you have the hard money lender, you're set up, you're probably going to require about, let's just say $35,000 to $50,000 down, depending on your market and everything. But I'm just using this as an example. And then you'll have that $10,000 left over for those monthly payments. And if you bought it at a deep enough discount, you're going to be able to use 100% of the renovations that the hard money company is giving you. They aren't that hard to find. And then you're going to be able to, once you're complete, the ARV, which is the after repair value, is going to show you if you have more or less than 80% equity in it. So you're either going to keep a little bit of money in the house, but you're going to be able to refinance, and then you're going to be able to pull almost all of that money or all of that money out of the $50,000 you put into it. And then you're going to be able to keep it as a rental and just keep reusing that money. So that is the whole idea of BRRRR. And then you can get into house hacking and live-in flips. So that's what I did in mine, was that I bought a fixer-upper. I lived in it, fixed it up, pulled the money out, and that's what helped me buy my first flip. So I recommend going from the book on rental property investing to BRRRR. So one of my last favorites, and that's something that after you're in the game for a little bit, or if you don't have the money to start, I don't recommend starting out with this book. That's going to be number 3. I still recommend the book on rental property investing, BRRRR. Go through a couple of those books and make sure you have that mindset down. Make sure you're in the game a little bit and kind of understand the bigger picture, because this next book is going to be able to give you some more strategies and tools in your tool belt. So, and that is Wealth Without Cash by Pace Morby. So that one is in bigger pockets. It's super popular. People think to go to this one first. I say hold off and wait to read this after you've done a little bit more studying in real estate and understand what an ARV is, how to buy them, because this is a way to really grow your portfolio if you're kind of understanding the game a little bit more. It's not wholesaling, but it goes into seller finance pretty deep, and then it goes into buying subject to, buying on notes, and doing all of these different things to get wealth without having the cash in your pocket. But a lot of these subject to opportunities, they are going to require a little bit of cash, whether that's for the closing fees or the lawyer fees or the closing attorney. You're probably still looking at coming out with a little bit of cash. Not always, not a lot, but I just got one yesterday got sent to me, and they're like, yeah, we're going to need $50,000 to buy this subject too. And I'm like, well, brother, I do not have that in my pocket, so I'm going to pass unless we can get creative. So this book teaches you to be a little bit more creative in trying to buy those deals. And that is the biggest thing. It's just tools in your tool belt. So if this situation comes up, if you're talking to a lot of people, if you're or talking to a lot of sellers that have interesting situations, you have these tools in your tool belt to be able to try and buy it. And you're able to throw out good opportunities just because you know how to structure it in that different way. And it's probably an offer they haven't heard of before, and it may be exactly what they're looking for. So I definitely recommend that one after you've read a couple of real estate books and you're in a little bit and start to know the lingo a little bit. Because if you're just starting out with this, it's going to be a little bit too over your head, I think. And then just because there's a lot of different things in there. Like, you don't even know how to buy a rental property or what you're going to do with it. So you need to have that end goal of what you're going to do with the property after you buy it. This strategy in book number 3, The Wealth Without Cash, is going to just help you buy it. But you need to have that end goal first of what you're going to do with the property. So again, book number 1, The Book on Rental Property Investing by Brandon Turner. The Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, Repeat, or BRRRR by David Green. And then the last one, number 3, Wealth Without Cash by Pace Morby. I definitely recommend checking out those books. You can check out my Instagram as I posted today on what those books look like. And I'll be back on Friday with some weekly updates. I'm not sure yet. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. This is Chris Rickenbaugh signing off.